a man decided to investigate the strange knocking sounds he'd been hearing from the upper floor of his house. The clip begins with him walking up the stairs slowly, the wood creaking beneath his feet as the faint knocking continues somewhere above.
Steve, are you home, bro? Yeah. Hello? Hello? Fuck!
Each step he takes seems to make the sound grow more deliberate than the one before, almost like whatever's causing it knows he's coming closer. By the time he reaches the top few steps, the knocks turn into rapid, heavy bangs that echo through the entire house. His breathing quickens, the camera shaking as he freezes in place for just a moment before instinct takes over. Without another word, he turns and bolts back down the stairs, the knocking still pounding behind him until he reaches the bottom and everything suddenly stops. Only the sound of his panicked breathing and the silence followed. The story continues right where the last clip left off. The man, still shaken from what happened upstairs, is now pacing around the lower floor, trying to calm himself. Then a familiar sound interrupts the silence. He hears loud, rhythmic banging coming from the basement door.
Purchase. Shit. You gotta come out. Oh, I got it. Come on. What the fuck?
He approaches it cautiously, hand trembling as he turns the handle and pulls it open to reveal the dark, empty stairwell below. He begins his descent, step by step, the camera light flickering as he reaches the bottom. The basement is in disarray with a few light bulbs smashed across the ground. He flips the switch on the wall, but the lights won't come on, leaving the room cloaked in dim shadows. As he moves the camera around, something clatters to the floor on the other side of the basement. He spins toward the sound, his breath quickening, when suddenly, from behind a shelf in the far corner, a shadow peeks out. It lingers for a second, then glides smoothly across the room before vanishing into the darkness. The man gasps and bolts back toward the stairs, the camera shaking violently until the footage cuts out, marking another terrifying moment in his ongoing haunting. Subscribe because this man's story just might continue. Leandro had been cleaning his garage earlier that day, leaving behind a single cardboard box he hadn't bothered to move. Hours later, now home alone, he started hearing something unusual coming from it. It was a faint, eerie melody playing on its own.
Son las 3 de la mañana. Hoy había limpiado y dejé una caja vieja y ahora estoy solo. Y se está escuchando. La verdad no sé. Yo esta caja la había dejado acá, pero no entiendo por qué.
When he went to check, he saw that the sound was coming from a doll box resting on top of the packaging box. The doll's built-in music feature was playing by itself, even though he hadn't wound it or touched it since moving it there. He crouched down, lifted the lid, and closed it firmly. The tune stopped instantly, but before he could even step away, 2 sharp knocks echoed from the door. Startled, he froze for a second, then turned back toward the doll, and the music had started playing again. The same unsettling tune filled the garage, slow and warped, like it was being played underwater. Leandro quickly shut the doll box a second time, took a deep breath, and walked to the door. He swung it open, expecting someone to be there after the knocks, but there was no one outside. The yard was empty, perfectly still. When he turned back toward the garage, the melody had stopped again, leaving only silence. But he said he could still feel the presence of something standing just behind that door frame. A woman began filming after her young daughter came running to her, insisting there was a person inside her closet. The video starts with the mother calmly following her daughter down the hallway, trying to reassure her it's nothing.
My daughter has informed me that there is a person in her closet that keeps smiling at her. Let's go see.
Open it. That's a person.
There's a person?
Yeah.
Can you show me where the person is?
Right here. Right here. Right here.
Is it Elsa?
No. No.
No?
I'm sure.
You're scared?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you show me where the person is? Is it a kid person or a grown-up person?
Grown-up person.
It's a grown-up person?
I'm on the Elmo.
You want to wear your Elmo costume?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a grown-up person in your closet?
Yeah.
And it's right there?
Yeah. It's my closet.
It's your closet. Say, go away, person.
I'm scared.
You're scared?
Yeah. I'm a person.
Okay, well, we'll get rid of the person.
When they reach the bedroom, the little girl clutches her mother's hand and points toward the closed closet door, whispering that the person is still in there. The mother is beside her, confident that nobody is there, and this is all her daughter's imagination, before slowly pulling the handle and opening it. At first glance, the closet looks completely empty with clothes, a few toys, and the quiet hum of the house in the background. But the little girl doesn't relax. She keeps pointing toward one specific corner of the closet, her eyes wide as if she can still see someone standing there. When her mom asks what she's seeing, the girl defines them as a grown-up, which is even more mysterious. The mother's tone changes, trying to stay calm but clearly unsettled, and she tells the person that it's her daughter's closet and they need to leave. Right as she says it, her daughter's expression shifts from confusion to pure fear. She steps back quickly, clutching her mom's arm and saying she's scared. The video ends abruptly after that, leaving viewers wondering who or what her daughter was seeing that the camera couldn't. Ring doorbell footage captured something so strange that even Sondra, the homeowner, couldn't believe what she was seeing. The clip begins late at night, the porch light faintly illuminating the front of her house. Out of nowhere, a pale white figure begins gliding away from the door. It is faint, shapeless, and eerily smooth in its movements. Its outline almost resembles the classic ghost shape, almost cartoonish, but too fluid and natural to be anything fake or edited. As it left the driveway, to make things even weirder, the front door, which had been fully closed, creaked open slightly on its own, as if whatever that thing was had just passed through it. The figure continues to move until it disappears completely off the edge of the camera's frame, dissolving into the night. There's no sign of anyone outside, no trick of the light, just the quiet motion of a door still swinging. Sondra later said she wasn't sure what to make of it. There were no footprints, no evidence of tampering, and nobody nearby. Now she's trying to decide what to do next. She has no idea whether to call in help, get a priest, or just pretend she never saw it. Whatever that thing was, it clearly didn't want to be caught. The Ring camera set up in a family's infant room caught something deeply disturbing late one night. The house was already known by relatives to be haunted, but what happened here was worse than anything they'd ever experienced before.
Another scary encounter. I have no clue what that is, but this is my infant's room, and I had a cam set up and caught this, and then the light turned off by itself. The window was cracked, but they're a child lock, so it can't be pried open.
It begins with a faint knocking sound coming from the window, something hitting it lightly over and over again. The strange part is, that window had child locks, so it couldn't be opened from the inside or the outside. As the camera focuses, a face slowly becomes visible on the other side of the glass. Its features are blurry, but unmistakably human-like, just not quite right. The proportions are off, the skin tone too mysterious and the eyes too dark. It stays pressed close to the window, gently patting the glass like it's trying to get someone's attention, then starts scratching it with what looks like long fingers. Then, without warning, the room's light flickers once and shuts off completely, plunging the space into darkness. When the parents rushed to check the camera, they were horrified to see what it had caught. Thankfully, the window was still locked, and their young son had been safely downstairs watching a movie at the time. The motion detector was what alerted them to the activity, but by the time they got upstairs, whatever had been at the window was gone. Security footage from a small cafe captured something so subtle yet eerie that it left both staff and customers unsettled. The timestamp read 3 in the afternoon, and it was just like any normal day in the cafe. However, it was far from busy and there weren't many customers. A waiter can be seen serving 2 women sitting by the window, a couple quietly chatting as he places down their meals and walks away. One of the women begins slicing into her food, while the other, waiting for her plate, scrolls on her phone. That's when it happens. Her empty plate, the one she hadn't even been served yet, slides a few inches across the table completely on its own. There's no visible contact, no vibration, no spill. The woman freezes, staring down in disbelief as her partner looks up confused. When the waiter returns with the second plate, they both immediately tell him what just happened. He assumes it's a joke at first, until they insist and ask him to check the cameras. Later that day, management reviewed the footage and confirmed exactly what the couple described. The plate had moved on its own, no strings, no tricks. It simply shifted across the table like someone invisible had pushed it. Out of respect for how shaken the couple were, the cafe refunded their meal entirely. Since then, staff have admitted they're uneasy about that table and try to avoid serving it when possible. It was a quiet night shift at the hospital, the kind where every small sound feels louder than it should. A male doctor and a female nurse were making their rounds, pushing along a cart down one of the dim hallways. That's when the phenomenon happened.
Did you hear her?
Yes.
You hear her?
Jeg siger dem så væk, og du rykker dem op. Vi rykker dem op.
Everything was still until a faint, eerie sound echoed through the corridor, a woman's voice. It wasn't a patient, and it wasn't coming from any of the nearby rooms. It was soft, almost like it was whispering from somewhere down the hall. Both of them stopped immediately, standing in silence, waiting to hear it again. For a few seconds, there was nothing, just the faint hum of the hospital lights. And then the noise came back, the same female tone, distant but unmistakable. The nurse looked toward the sound while the doctor hesitated, unsure whether to keep moving or turn back. They eventually continued, pushing the cart slowly as their footsteps echoed against the linoleum floor. Later that same night, a different nurse captured something even stranger on her own phone. While doing another routine check, she started recording one of the rooms when a door behind her began to open by itself. The handle turned, the door creaked, and it swung open slowly, revealing nothing but an empty room beyond. There was no one inside, no wind, no logical explanation. After reviewing both moments side by side, the staff were convinced that something else was moving through that hospital with them. They just couldn't prove it. Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, is back on this channel once again, and this time he's still exploring that same haunted factory that's been featured in several of his past investigations. The building's history of strange sounds and ghostly encounters has only gotten darker since his last visit, and what he caught here might be the most convincing proof yet.
Dude, it just freaking touched me. I felt a cold hand run right up my back. Oh God, that was absolutely terrifying. Just stay calm. Just stay calm. What? That door just shut. Oh, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I am not gonna be stuck in here. Please, 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 please. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh. It just tried to shut me in here. Like trap me. With it.
He's walking through one of the long, echoing hallways, flashlight aimed ahead, quietly questioning the ghost that's said to linger in this part of the building. His tone is calm but uneasy, asking it a series of questions, likely in an attempt to provoke it for content. A few seconds later, he suddenly stiffens and turns, saying something just touched him, describing it as an icy cold hand pressing against his back. His voice cracks slightly, caught between disbelief and fear, as he pans the camera behind him, but there's no one there. Before he can react further, the sound of a door slamming breaks through the silence. The camera spins toward it, capturing one of the old wooden doors closing on its own, the hinges groaning with a long, almost comically accurate creak as it latches shut. Ian edges closer, breathing heavy but determined, and decides to stand directly in the doorway to stop it from closing again. The clip ends there, his flashlight trembling slightly in his hand, leaving you guys wondering if something was trying to trap him inside. Subscribe to me so you don't miss the continuation of this haunting investigation. Ever since he was young, Marcus had been fascinated with the underground. He loved the stillness, the echoes, and the sense of mystery that came with exploring places most people would never see. Over the years, he had taken up caving as a hobby, often bringing his loyal dog along for company. On this particular day, he decided to explore a cave system he hadn't visited before, curious to see what secrets it might hold. With only his headlamp and his dog's eager excitement to guide the way, they ventured deep inside.
Out. Out. Come here. Come on. Come on. Go. Misty. What do you think about this, Misty? Keep looking. Stay behind me. What the fuck is that? Oh shit. Go. Come on, Misty. Come on, Misty.
The footage shows them carefully making their way through narrow passages until they eventually reach a dead end, where dozens of bats hang above, prompting Marcus to turn around. After walking back for only a short time, the beam of his light catches something ahead, a tall, human-like figure standing in the darkness. It was far too unnatural in movement and presence to be anything ordinary. Without a second thought, Marcus grabs his dog and bolts for the exit, the sound of his hurried footsteps echoing through the cave as they escape into daylight. Even now, he says he can't explain what he saw, and maybe he doesn't want to. Dre and his friend had been hanging out one evening when a series of strange noises started coming from the attic. At first, they brushed it off, thinking it might just be the wind or an old house creaking, but the sounds kept happening, louder each time. After a bit of debating, they decided to check it out for themselves. Climbing up into the dim attic, they were hit with an instant feeling of unease, like they were being watched. The air felt heavier, and both of them agreed it didn't feel right.
Alright, remember, I gotta turn this thing on here. Recorder's on.
Alright, we got the cripple.
Yeah, I'm the cripple. I'm the EVP director.
The EVP specialist. And, let's see if I can do this. Got myself, Dre. And we're up here because we heard some noises earlier. And we're trying to figure out if we can catch a little bit more. Or try to piss this thing off enough to let us know that it's here.
I heard you up here last night. Make a noise. I kept on hearing stuff in the back of the attic on the back there on the right, like there was something hiding back there. I got it on the recorder, like all these little bangs and scratching noises. And
Yeah.
just for the record, there's no wildlife up here. What's your name? Stop hiding and show yourself.
Give us a sign. What the hell was that?
Did you see something?
We just got something on video.
What was it?
Oh my gosh, what was that?
What did it
Hang on,
look
we gotta stop this.
What did it look like?
In the footage, the camera pans across the far end of the attic, just in time to catch a sudden movement in the shadows. Nobody else was in the house, and no one could have been hiding there without them seeing. The encounter left them certain they had just come face to face with a ghost. Mykolenko is one of those rare ghost hunters whose reputation speaks for itself. Known for his sharp instincts, unshakable composure, and years of experience investigating some of the most infamous haunted locations, he's built a name for himself as the guy who gets results. Clients trust him because he doesn't just chase shadows, he documents them with undeniable clarity. So when he was offered $500 to prove a paranormal presence in a suburban home that had been giving its owners sleepless nights, he didn't hesitate. In the footage, Mykolenko is standing well across the room, far from the old wooden cabinet in question. Without warning, the cabinet begins to shake violently, sending several objects crashing to the floor. The angle is perfect, clear, steady, and without any sign of wires or tampering. The homeowners were convinced on the spot, and true to his word, Mykolenko delivered the proof and walked away with the full $500 in hand. If you want more investigations like this, make sure to subscribe. Mykolenko will be appearing in future videos, and you don't want to miss what he uncovers next. A man was relaxing in his bedroom late at night when a sudden aggressive rattling of a nearby door jolted him upright. At first, he thought it might be the wind, or maybe someone else in the house, but the sound was too intense and frantic to be either. Grabbing his camera, he stepped cautiously out of bed, his breathing already quickening as he edged closer to the source. The footage shows him standing right next to the door as the handle shakes violently on its own. Without warning, the door swings open and then closes again, all while the handle continues to tremble as if being gripped by invisible hands. His loud, panicked breathing fills the audio, making the moment even more unsettling. After the incident, he admitted he didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next day, he began researching and reaching out to local paranormal hunters, determined to bring in someone experienced who could explain or confront whatever was in his home. Valentina was at the hospital late one evening, sitting in the hallway while her father was being treated. She had no idea that at this exact point in time, her father had already passed away. She was scrolling through her phone, trying to distract herself from the stress, when something caught her attention out of the corner of her eye. The wheelchair her father regularly used began to roll forward completely on its own, moving smoothly across the corridor without anyone near it. Valentina froze, her fear mixing with confusion as she stared at the empty seat. Later, a nurse informed her that her father's heart had stopped just 2 minutes before the wheelchair had moved. The timing left her shaken, wondering if this was her father's way of saying goodbye. Marcos had just returned home from a long shift at work and was winding down for the night, watching TV in her room. It was quiet, the kind of stillness that usually meant nothing out of the ordinary would happen. But then she heard it, a distinct thud from just outside her bedroom door, like something heavy had fallen. At first, she thought she imagined it, but the sound was too real to ignore. Curious and a little uneasy, she grabbed her phone and started recording before going to check. She slowly opened her bedroom door and immediately spotted an object lying on the floor in the hallway, something that definitely hadn't been there before. As she processed what she was seeing, a chair further down the hall suddenly slid across the floor directly toward her, stopping just a few feet away. Marcos backed up quickly, her breathing picking up as fear set in. Later, she admitted she didn't sleep in her room that night, and was now considering having a paranormal investigator come to see what she might be dealing with. Fabian was sitting in his room watching TV when he heard the familiar sound of his dad's car pulling into the driveway. He quickly turned his head toward the window, trying to catch a glimpse of him arriving. While Fabian's attention was fixed outside, the doll on his bed shifted suddenly, moving in a way that was far from natural. Fabian had no idea. He only turned back a moment later and hurried out of the room to greet his dad. Later, his mum reviewed the security footage from his room and was left stunned by what she saw. The doll had been perfectly still before, and there was no one near it when it moved. The unsettling discovery has her seriously considering moving out before whatever caused it decides to do more. Late at night in Mexico, a family was winding down when one of them claimed to see something strange moving outside from their bedroom window. They described it as a white cloak drifting through the street. So the father decided to head downstairs and step outside to record whatever it was.
Ya, loco, graba. Míralo ahí, loco, míralo ahí. ¿Y qué es lo que está haciendo? Yo te dije, loco, se parece a Martín, loco, el que murió. Cierra la puerta. Cierra la puerta. Llama a papi. Papi, ven que aquí hay una cosa rara, yo no sé qué es. Mira, llámalo, ve. Cierra la puerta. Ay, Dios mío. Mira. Ay, Dios. Llama a papi.
In the footage, A white bedsheet-like shape can be seen floating and twisting through the air, moving in a way that didn't match any breeze. It glided across the road, almost deliberately, before disappearing into the deep shadows beside another house. The family was left unsettled, unsure if it was some elaborate prank or something far stranger. Neighbors have since been warned, but the mystery remains unsolved. Mike has always been the kind of person who notices the little things, small movements, changes in sound, anything slightly out of place. Lately, though, those little things in his home have been happening far too often for comfort. He says it started with odd sounds at night, but recently the activity has been bold enough to catch in daylight. That's when he decided to start filming, just to have proof of what he was seeing. The footage starts in his dining room, where a wooden chair at the table slides itself just a few inches across the floor. In the second part, the camera is in the kitchen, capturing one of the drawers pulling open slowly and deliberately, as though someone was standing right there. Finally, the third clip shows a wall sticker in his living room peeling away from the surface on its own, curling toward the floor with no one touching it. Mike says all three moments happened within days of each other, and while none of them were violent, the fact that they keep escalating has him wondering just how far this is going to go. Mateo works nights as a security guard at a large hospital, a job that's usually more about patience than action. Most shifts are long stretches of quiet hallways, the occasional patient wandering in confusion, and the hum of fluorescent lights. But he says that over the past few weeks, strange things have been happening, such as unexplained noises, flickering lights, and shadows where there shouldn't be any. That's when he decided to start filming during his rounds, just in case.
Se oye una voz rara aquí como... Ush. Son las domingo. No hay nadie. La silla se mueve sola, se apagaron las luces cuando entré. No hay nadie en el baño.
The footage begins in one of the hospital's empty corridors. A chair sitting against the wall suddenly slides a long distance across the floor, scraping as it moves. Just a second later, something faint and humanoid appears to shift around the corner at the far end of the hall. Mateo immediately rushes over, the camera shaking as he turns the corner, only to find absolutely nothing there. No footsteps, no movement, no sign that anyone had been in the area at all. He says the hospital's night staff have whispered about hauntings for years, but after that encounter, Mateo admits he's starting to believe them. Let's just hope if this place is haunted, the spirit leaves soon. Around midnight, a family began receiving repeated notifications of movement detected by their security cameras. Concerned, the father immediately checked his phone to see what was causing the alerts. The footage shows a dark, demonic-looking head slowly peeking around a corner. The image is unsettling, and unlike anything they had seen before. Despite the chilling sight, the family remains unsure what to make of it. Some suggest it could be a strange light reflection or a trick of the camera lens, while others worry it might be something far more sinister. For now, the mystery remains unresolved, leaving them on edge and unsure what to expect next. Marco works as a security guard at a local mall and recently started noticing strange motion detections coming from the basement. His boss instructed him to go check it out and bring his camera along, just in case.
Dios, esto sí que es extraño. Acabo de prender la cámara porque la silla que estaba junto a las otras empezó a moverse. Eran 4 sillas, pero una empezó a moverse. Está detrás de la columna, a tan solo unos metros. Pero puedo ver. Allí está de nuevo moviéndose de nuevo. No puedo creerlo. Viene hacia mí. Creo que viene hacia mí. Viene hacia mí. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Se está moviendo. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Maldita silla. Se está moviendo. Estoy atrás de la caja registradora. No puede ser. Creo que algo extraño sucede aquí. Como muy extraño sucede. Otra vez la silla, maldita silla, se está moviendo. Se está moviendo, maldita sea. Maldita sea. Maldita sea. Maldita sea. Esa maldita silla se está moviendo de nuevo. Parece que no se queda. Por Dios, esa maldita silla. Esa maldita silla. Creo que voy a llamar al 911. Creo que llamaré al 911.
Down in the dimly lit basement, Marco films as a red chair slowly slides across the floor, inching closer to him on its own. The movement is eerie and completely unexplained. After the clip, Marco admitted feeling shaken, but stayed professional. He's still unsure what caused the chair to move, and plans to report it to his supervisors while staying alert for anything else unusual. The whole experience left him questioning what might really be lurking in the basement. Macchio had recently moved into a new home, still unpacking boxes and adjusting to the unfamiliar surroundings. Despite the excitement of a fresh start, he kept noticing odd things such as small sounds, items slightly out of place, but nothing he could quite explain. One night, just as he was settling into bed, a persistent rustling noise from downstairs caught his attention. Curious and a bit uneasy, he decided to investigate.
Estamos aquí en la funeraria, otra vez. Con ruidos raros. Entonces, pues, está solo. Ahora sí. ¿Cuál pinche que se ve? Que nada. Estoy solo. Estoy solo a la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la chingada. A la vez. No mames, no mames, no mames. A la chingada.
As he filmed, several tall, pillar-like objects in the living room suddenly began to collapse one by one, falling with no visible cause or anyone near them. The way they toppled seemed deliberate, as if an unseen force was at work. Makio quickly realized this was no ordinary disturbance. This had all the hallmarks of a poltergeist. He shared the footage with his followers, explaining that while he hoped it was harmless, the activity was clearly escalating. Since then, he's been researching ways to handle such paranormal presence, considering everything from cleansing rituals to calling in experts. The experience left him cautious but determined to understand what exactly was happening in his new home. Ian, known for his solo explorations of abandoned places, ventured into the backstage area of a long-forgotten theater. The corridors were lined with dusty props and old equipment, remnants of a bygone era. He marveled at the intricate lifts and old beauty mirrors, capturing the eerie beauty of the decaying space. At first, everything seemed calm, the silence only broken by the creaks of the building settling. But then, something weird happened.
Backstage area. I hear that a former costume designer haunts this place. Could you give me a sign of your presence? Oh wow, look at that. That's the underneath of the stage. This looks like where actors would go through. They go through that door right there. And then this looks like some kind of lift or something. If there's anybody over here, could you make a noise for me? Oh my gosh, that scared me. That's just the motion light. Whew. Dang. Hello? Anyone back here? I thought I heard something up there. Hello? Let's go up there and find out what it was.
Faint noises echoed from upstairs, and it was super creepy, considering this was a solo mission. Ian's curiosity piqued, and he decided to investigate further. Subscribe to my channel to see the full clip of his upstairs adventure and to follow his ongoing investigations into the paranormal. A man was out shopping, carrying his dog safely in his arms as he moved through the aisles. Everything seemed normal at first, but then his dog suddenly started squirming, twisting and turning as if desperate to get down. The man was puzzled, but gently tried to calm the dog, thinking it might just be restless. After a few tense moments, the dog finally managed to slip from his hold and land on the floor. What happened next was truly bizarre and unsettling. The video shows something invisible bending the man's finger all the way back in a way that looked painful, but no one or nothing was visibly there to cause it. What makes this especially chilling is that ghost encounters rarely involve physical pain, so for something unseen to cause actual discomfort is frightening and very unusual. The man himself looked shocked and confused, clearly shaken by the experience, and viewers watching the clip have been left wondering what exactly could have caused this strange event in the middle of an otherwise normal shopping trip. A man was in his bedroom late at night when the stillness of the house was broken by unsettling noises. At first, he tried to ignore it, but the sounds persisted, strange enough to make him grab his phone and start filming.
Hay algo en la cocina. Algo se mueve acá. Yo eso creo. No jodas.
He followed the noise out of his room, the camera shaking slightly as he made his way through the dark hallway until he reached the kitchen. That's when it happened. Some form of shadow glided across a row of long, thin objects that were propped up inside, brushing past them with an eerie presence. Just seconds later, they all came crashing down, filling the kitchen with a loud clatter. The man froze, clearly rattled, before quickly backing out of the room. With no one else in the house, and no way to explain how a shadow could physically interact with objects, the moment left him more shaken than ever. It was yet another chilling reminder that he wasn't alone. Rojo, a ghost hunter known for chasing down some of the most unnerving locations, set his sights on a school he strongly suspected was haunted. The building had long been rumored to hold on to dark energy, and he wanted to prove it for himself. With his equipment ready and camera rolling, he stepped inside the empty halls.
Estoy solo, no hay nadie, no hay ningún carro, nomás está la mía. Si vieron, alguien pasó allá. ¿Escucharon? Oigan, miren, no sé si alcancen a ver ahí en la ventana. Ahí, que se vea algo, ¿sí ven? Ven. ¿Se alcanzan a ver la sombra?
Almost immediately, shadows began appearing, not the kind caused by flickering lights or passing cars, but movements that seemed deliberate and intelligent, which is exactly what you would expect from a spirit. Determined to follow the activity, Rojo moved toward one of the classrooms. After spotting a shadow darting across the doorway, he pushed the door open and stepped inside cautiously. Just as he entered, a chair flew to the floor with force, startling him so badly he almost dropped his camera. The empty classroom was silent again, but the message was clear. Something inside that school did not want him there. The YouTube channel Exploration Unknown, with over 160,000 subscribers, took their audience along for another chilling adventure, this time exploring the haunted house of 7 Islands. Known for its dark history and eerie legends, the house had long been on their list of must-visit places. The team was setting up their equipment when one of them began casually recording an introduction for viewers.
Wow, that is beautiful. Oh, somebody's coming out. No, it's Tim. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you ruined my moonshot, bro. Oh, man. I already got it, though. It's all good. It's beautiful, man. Okay. All right, guys. We've got the K2 meter over here in this window. We're getting things set up. All right. And then in and then here.
As he walked through the house explaining that the team was setting up, the camera panned past the staircase. At that very moment, the shadow of a pair of shadow-looking legs could be seen walking across the top of the stairs, hidden behind the banister. Nobody else was supposed to be upstairs, and the rest of the team were accounted for on the ground floor. The figure never appeared again, but the fleeting shadow was enough to leave the crew and their viewers deeply unsettled. It was one of those moments that couldn't be explained away easily, and for Exploration Unknown, it confirmed that the haunted house of 7 Islands truly lived up to its terrifying reputation. The Japanese YouTube channel Fourth Wall, with over 260,000 subscribers, is well known for capturing unsettling encounters in some of the country's most haunted places. In one of their investigations, the team had been focusing on a room on the upper floor of a notoriously eerie facility, a spot they already suspected was charged with strange energy. Standing outside in the darkness, the cameraman tilted his lens up toward the window, talking about it. But just as he panned the shot back down, something unexpected happened. In the shadows of a doorway, a figure could be seen walking past. At first glance, it looked like a person, but the mannerisms and the way it acted, detached from the environment, made it an evident ghost. Many agreed it was one of the clearest ghostly captures the channel had ever recorded. Daniel Perez had grown used to the strange happenings in his home, but instead of ignoring them, he decided it was time to finally catch something on film. He set up in his kitchen, holding his camera steady as he spoke about the spirit he was certain lived alongside him.
En la cocina me dijeron que cuando vuelva a sentir otra vez ruidos, diga unas palabras para que se vaya. Y bueno, voy a decirlas ahora. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Ay, la puta madre. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Puedes irte de mi casa, tenés las puertas abiertas. Andate de mi casa.
For a while, nothing happened, just the ordinary quiet of the house. Then, suddenly, a pot was hurled to the floor with force, clattering loudly across the tiles. Daniel jumped at the sound, but kept the camera rolling, determined to show everything as it unfolded. Moments later, one of the kitchen cupboards creaked open by itself, fast and deliberate, as if something unseen wanted to make its presence known. Daniel's clip quickly spread online, with viewers agreeing that it was far too direct to be anything but paranormal. For him, the activity was further proof that his suspicions had been right all along. His home wasn't empty, and the spirit inside clearly wanted attention. An 11-year-old girl had been insisting for weeks that her house was haunted, but her parents brushed it off as imagination. Determined to prove she was right, she waited for the next urge of activity, listening carefully until the familiar sounds returned. Camera in hand, she sprinted upstairs, ready to capture it once and for all.
You know how I told you my house is haunted? Yeah, it's happening. What should I do? Should I go in there? I don't know if I should go in there. That door closed. It's just closed. I'm gonna turn the lights on. It's opening. It's opening. Should I go in there? I'll go in there. Nothing here. Like, what? There's nothing here. What do I do? Like, there's nothing here. But you saw that, so what did I do?
At the top of the landing, she caught clear footage of a door swinging open and slamming shut on its own, over and over, with no one nearby. Nervously, she flicked the light switch on and ran toward the room, pushing the door open to show the empty space behind it. There was nothing inside, no strings, no tricks, just a room that should have been still, but wasn't. For a girl her age, the courage to chase down the activity left viewers stunned, and for her parents, the clip was undeniable proof that she hadn't been making things up. The very next day, the girl's mother was going about her usual routine, still unconvinced, despite the strange footage her daughter had shown her the night before. But while she was tidying up, something caught her eye.
Did you hear that? Whoa. Why is that thing moving? Okay. Hello? Hello? Okay. This side of the basement always freaks me out. Hello? Oh my god. I know, I just stopped that thing.
An underwear hanger nearby began swaying back and forth on its own, slow at first, and then with more force. She stopped what she was doing and went to check it, running her hands along the octopus hanger to show there was nothing that could have been tampering with it. Puzzled, she walked around the room, softly calling out, "Hello," as if testing whether something would answer. When she turned back, the hanger was moving again, just as unnaturally as before. This time, she froze, realizing her daughter might have been telling the truth all along. The family now had more than one strange moment on tape, leaving them questioning what exactly had settled into their home. Ghost Golden Guns was relaxing in front of the TV late one night when that uneasy feeling crept back into the house. Tired of ignoring it, he called out, asking if anyone was there.
Yo, what up? Ghost Golden Guns over here, and I'm going live right now because that's why. Hello? Hello? Is anyone there? What the f? What the f? Who is out? Oh my god. Oh my goodness, what the f? Hello, who is there? Oh my goodness, please stop. What the f? Please stop, please stop. This is my house. Leave, leave, this is my house. You're not allowed here. Leave. Oh my goodness. Hello. Oh my goodness.
Almost immediately, the kitchen beside him erupted with a series of unexplainable noises and movements, far too deliberate to pass off as coincidence. He stood frozen for a moment, the weight of the situation setting in, before finally working up the courage to shout at whatever it was, demanding it to get out. Gathering himself, he walked into the kitchen with his camera still rolling. Just as he thought the activity had calmed, one of the cupboards creaked open on its own. It was the final straw for him that night. Rather than keep pushing, he turned away and decided to go to sleep, hoping that by morning the presence would be gone. For viewers, the video was another chilling sign that something inside his home wasn't finished with him yet. In the following video, a man began filming late at night after the unsettling sound of constant knocking echoed through his house. The knocking was rhythmic, steady, and didn't stop, no matter how long he waited. He gets up, phone in hand, and walks slowly toward the front door, the knocks growing louder with each step. Even as he reaches for the handle, it keeps going with hard, deliberate thuds that seem to come from the other side. He hesitates for a moment before unlocking it, takes a deep breath, and swings the door open. Instantly, the sound stops. The air outside is dead silent, the porch empty, and the street beyond completely still. Just as he turns to head back inside, he notices something strange, a single mysterious branch lying perfectly in the center of his doorstep, as if it had been placed there. Confused, he picks it up and brings it to the trash, wondering how it could have got there. He shuts the door behind him after going back inside. No more knocking, no more movement, just the eerie sense that whatever had been at his door had left something behind on purpose. The next clip picks up at the very same door, recorded just a few nights later. This time, instead of knocking, there's a strange snapping sound coming from outside, quick, sharp, and repeating in perfect intervals. It was almost like a whipping noise. The man hesitates, clearly unnerved, before deciding to open the door again. As soon as the door swings open, the snapping stops dead. He steps outside cautiously, scanning the porch and yard with his phone light, expecting to find an animal or a loose branch in the wind, but the night is completely still. Then, as his camera pans down, something catches his eye, a single branch lying neatly across his doormat. It's almost identical to the one he found before. He crouches down, examining it for a moment before whispering that he doesn't understand how it got there. There's no movement, no explanation, just that same uneasy silence pressing against the air. The clip ends with him slowly backing inside, locking the door again, clearly realizing this wasn't just some random coincidence. Whatever was leaving those branches seemed to be coming back for more, so he needs to do something to stop it. So suggest some ideas in the comments section. Unedited security footage from a metal gate warehouse captured something that left the entire staff stunned. Earlier that night, one of the workers had gone to check the main gate and confirmed it was firmly padlocked before heading back inside to grab the keys. Only 5 minutes later, this clip was recorded. The heavy gate can be seen rattling gently at first, as though someone is tugging from the other side, even though the lot is completely empty. Then the padlock begins to twist on its own, slowly turning in place before it clicks free and drops to the ground. The gate swings open right after this happens, swinging all the way until it's wide open, exposing nothing but darkness beyond it. The camera shows no people, no animals, and no movement anywhere nearby. When the worker returned with the keys, they found the gate unlocked and open exactly like in the footage. After reviewing it, he immediately quit his job, saying he refused to work somewhere that could unlock itself so easily. Viewers online agreed it was one of the clearest examples of paranormal interference ever caught on CCTV, and I bet people will think twice before shopping here in the future. A man was spending a quiet evening at home, watching cartoons with his son, while his wife got ready in the bathroom. Everything felt perfectly normal, until he noticed movement behind the curtain-like blanket covering a door nearby. At first, he thought maybe his son had thrown something or that a draft had made it shift, but the timing felt too precise, too intentional.
Todo había estado tranquilo.
Esta vez no. Miren lo que está pasando. Ya no había pasado nada. Estoy jugando con mi hijo. Estamos viendo caricaturas. Miren. Mi esposa está en el baño. Vamos a ver.
¿Qué carajo es eso?
¿Qué es es eso? No mames. Maldita sea, vamos a prender el flash. Ahí espera, hijo. ¿Qué fue eso? No hay nadie en la cocina. Oh, mierda. ¿Qué?
Ahora sí me dio miedo.
¿Qué es eso?
He began filming, explaining that nobody else was supposed to be in the house, his voice uneasy as he reached for the edge of the curtain. Pulling it aside, he revealed the dark room beyond, and for a split second, a shadowy figure could be seen peeking out from across the room before retreating. His breathing quickened as he glanced back to make sure his son didn't follow. Gripping a flashlight, he stepped carefully into the room the shape had vanished into. The beam swept across the furniture and walls, but there was nothing. No person, no movement, not even a sound. The atmosphere was thick and silent, the kind of silence that makes your skin crawl. When he checked the footage later, he realized the shadow had leaned out just enough for its head to be visible, and there was no logical way anyone could have been standing there. It was around 3 in the morning when the man started recording again. This time, both he and his wife were awake, startled by the sound of repeated knocking at their door. At first, he brushed it off as the family dog, but the rhythm was too precise and far too constant to be an animal.
¿Qué onda, banda? Son las 3 y cacho de la mañana. Estoy grabando este video porque nos despertaban unos golpes en la puerta, como si estuvieran tocando. Pensamos que era el perro, pero ya son muchos y repetidamente. No sé, estoy con mi esposa y mi hijo. Y a mi esposa me dijo que ya me levante a ver porque sí, ya está raro. Así que pues, vamos a ir a ver qué onda, porque esto sí está... Está canijo. Ya están tocando mucho. Y el perro sí, ya no puede ser. Yo nomás voy a buscar unas chanclas, unos tenis o algo. Y pues vamos a ver qué onda. Que sí, ya. Esto está raro. Vamos a ver qué. No, esto sí no. No, madre. Esta puerta está cerrada. No hay nadie aquí tampoco. Esta Valkyria. Hey Google, ¿qué hora es?
Son las 3:10 de la mañana.
Nada, amor, nada.
His wife stayed in bed while he got up, muttering that he'd check it out. Slipping on his shoes, he walked down the dark hallway, the steady thuds still echoing through the house. When he reached the door, he froze. Through the smudged glass, a faint face could be seen on the other side, distorted by the frosted surface but human enough to send a chill down his spine. He steadied his camera and opened the door in one swift motion, only to find nothing. The driveway was empty, the air still. Confused, he stepped outside, scanning the area with his flashlight, but no one was anywhere nearby. When he went back inside, the knocking had stopped completely, and the house was quiet again. His wife, still in bed, asked what it was. He didn't have an answer. That the face he saw through that glass wasn't clear, but it was definitely there. Two sisters had set up a quiet game of chess in the living room, planning to spend the next hour or so laughing and competing against each other. The house was calm, there were no windows open, and nothing felt out of place. But halfway through the match, something caught their attention.
Lleva mucho rato en eso. Déjeme, yo grabo, mi hija, porque... ¿Jessie está venteando o está usted echado acá?
No, todo está echado.
Ay. No. No.
Venga.
No, parce, no.
Behind one of them, a set of dangling ornaments began to sway and shake on their own, despite there being no draft in the room. At first, they tried to brush it off, but just as the atmosphere grew tense, a small table scraped forward with a loud noise, sliding slightly in their direction. Both froze in place, eyes wide, when suddenly the kitchen drawer in the background began to open on its own. Before they could even react, an entire cupboard burst open and a handful of pots and pans clattered violently to the floor. That was enough. The sisters abandoned the chess game and ran out of the room in fear. Neither had ever experienced anything like it before, and it left them shaken about staying in the house at all. This incident came from a security team monitoring CCTV in a car park late at night. Their job tended to be very boring, but little did they know that this one was going to be spiced up a little. Have a look.
See the white thing over there? Yeah.
In the clip, a red Jeep was parked quietly among the other vehicles when, without warning, the driver's side door creaked open on its own. No one entered or exited, and the surrounding area was completely empty. The security guards watching the feed were stunned, unable to explain how it could happen when the car park was locked down and quiet. After a long pause, the door slowly shut again, closing firmly as if someone had pulled it from the inside. Later, it was revealed that the Jeep was home to the death of a cat. While the guards didn't know this at the time, some who have seen the clip believe the strange activity might have been more than just a mechanical fault, and possibly the spirit of the animal making one last return. It was a stormy night, the kind where the wind itself seemed alive, howling so aggressively it bled into the entire recording. A man decided to explore a haunted house, one that had gained a reputation in the area for strange noises and shadowy figures. He walked through the hallways that looked like the back rooms, but at first, nothing out of the ordinary happened. The only sound was the wind whistling through broken windows, rattling everything in its path. After a while, though, a piercing noise echoed through the building that sounded like a siren, the kind installed years ago to detect movement inside. That was the moment his nerves started to shift. Later, when he reviewed his footage, the most chilling detail became clear. As he pointed his camera towards a far corner, a shadow figure leaned out briefly, as if to watch him, before slipping back out of sight. He was very fortunate he left the place after the alarm went off, or who knows what could have happened. Antonio had been home alone that night when he decided to head downstairs, his phone in hand. As he reached for the switch, the lights refused to turn on, leaving only the dim glow of his camera to cut through the darkness. He kept walking cautiously until he reached the dining room, where the table sat still and untouched. That's when it happened.
Tengo mucho miedo. Me quedé solo en la casa. Me han pasado cosas desde que vi ese maldito video. Escucho cosas. No hay luz. No sé qué hacer. Escucho muchas cosas. Ay, Dios, tengo miedo. ¿Qué pedo? ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Qué pedo?
One of the dining chairs scraped against the floor, pulling itself back slowly but deliberately, as if someone had pulled it. The sound echoed through the house, and Antonio froze in place, his breathing sharp and unsteady. The clip cuts shortly after, leaving viewers unsettled and speculating. If the chair could move with such force, what else might have been lurking in that house waiting for him? Who knows how much worse it might have gotten once the camera stopped recording. Dana had been on edge for weeks, convinced that something was off in her apartment. That night, she set her phone up while doing her makeup, determined to document what had been unsettling her.
Bueno, me puse a grabar porque estoy escuchando cosas. Entonces... el rímel. Me manché un poco. Uy, quedaron súper bonitas. Abajo también. No entiendo por qué. Mejor me hago rápido y ya me voy. Es que chicos, yo estoy sola. Voy a ir a ver. Sí, la verdad no sé por qué es así, pero bueno, voy a acabarme de hacer rápido, pero el pelo.
como que me voy así peinada porque la persona así.
As she brushed her hair back, the bangs and creaks she'd grown used to suddenly grew louder and more erratic, echoing through her place as if something invisible was pacing the walls. Just as she was about to laugh it off, she started to have a nosebleed, sending a wave of panic through her. She grabbed a tissue, went to the door, opening it to the dimly lit corridor outside. Nobody was there. The hall was empty and silent. Relieved but unnerved, she went back to do her makeup, only to see the lock on her front door start moving on its own accord. She opened it, revealing nothing but an empty hall once again. She is seriously considering moving out. Two police officers in Nayarit were on late-night patrol when they were dispatched to an elementary school after reports of strange disturbances in the area. It was 3 a.m., the streets silent, and the building was very dark from inside the gates. They parked their unit out front, one of them filming while they scanned the grounds for anything suspicious.
No manches, mira lo que estamos viendo nosotros ahorita a las 3 de la mañana.
For a brief moment, two small figures could be seen moving inside the school before quickly darting away, as though they knew they were being watched. To the officers, it appeared like children, but given the hour, the locked gates, and the emptiness of the grounds, that explanation didn't make sense. The figures were never identified, and both men later admitted they didn't believe they were dealing with real kids at all. Many believe what they saw were restless spirits, lingering within the walls of the school long after closing time. The following night, or more accurately at 2 o'clock in the morning on September 16th, the same officers returned to the elementary school, still unsettled by what they had seen the night before. This time, instead of staying in the safety of their patrol car, one of them stepped out into the cool night air and walked straight to the school's front gates.
Dale, güey, dale, vámonos, vámonos. Buenas noches, señores, buenas noches, señores. Aquí estamos grabando un videíto, otro video para todas las personas que dicen que quieren segunda parte del otro video. ¿Qué les podemos decir? Nosotros no afirmamos lo que se vio en el video, pero tampoco decimos que es falso, ¿verdad? Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la escuela por fuera, porque por dentro pues no podemos ingresar todavía, ¿verdad? Son casi las 2 de la mañana. Esta es la escuela de aquí de Nayarit. Sí se ve el video, para que no empiecen a decir que vale madre la calidad del video, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela. Ahorita le vamos a mostrar la puerta donde se miraron lo que se miró. No quiero decir qué es lo que se miró. Es esta. Esta es la puerta. Ya está una lona que no sé qué quiere decir. Vamos a bajar. Ay, cabrón, la chingue. Ese es el cancel, ¿verdad? Esta es la escuela por dentro. Son los salones. Vamos a darle la vuelta caminando, ¿verdad? Quita otra ventana. Esta es la escuela 16 de septiembre de aquí de Nayarit, Jala, Nayarit. Vamos a darle una vuelta a la escuela. Por esta escuela, señores, nos ha tocado escuchar muchas cosas en una cancha que está allá al fondo. Allá al fondo está una cancha. Ahí donde seguido escuchamos que el balón, pues más que nada, a esta hora, que andan jugando fútbol, básquetbol, y pues realmente no, pues no es nada, ¿verdad? Pronto estaremos adentro ya que nos den chance a las autoridades para poder meternos, ¿verdad? ¿Qué le podemos decir, señores? No, yo no quiero que me crean de lo que se vio, ¿verdad? Nosotros tomamos unas fotos a las escuelas y es lo que se vio en su momento. No es cámara profesional, para que no empiecen a decir que no se ve nada, pero pues ahí les dejo este video para que ustedes mismos chequen, saquen sus conclusiones, vean qué puede ser. Pues así que aquí por afuera pues no se puede ver mucho, ¿verdad? Pero pronto andaremos por dentro. Este fue aquí el zaguán, ¿verdad? Ahí nos guachamos para la próxima, señores. Ahí estamos, pendientones. Y para los que no creen, pues nada más no crean, pero pues tampoco insulten, ¿verdad? Porque pues ninguna mordida le pedimos a las personitas esas. ¿Cómo crees que la vamos a andar pidiendo mordida? Saludos, señores.
His flashlight swept over the empty yard beyond, the silence almost suffocating. No movement, no sign of anyone inside. Wanting a better look, he circled part of the perimeter until he came to a section of wall with barred windows, large enough to peer through. He pressed his face close to the cold metal with his phone camera on the other side, but again, nothing happened. The officer filming explained to viewers that, as officers, they would eventually be allowed to enter the school officially, but not yet. For now, all they could do was watch from the outside, waiting for the chance to investigate what truly hides within the grounds of the school. Ian, better known as the Midwest Ghost Hunter, has spent countless nights exploring the eeriest places across the country, and this abandoned theater has already given him plenty of reasons to return.
I heard you loud and clear. It literally came from up here, and it echoed. Oh my God, that perfume smell is getting stronger up here. Hello? Oh, holy shit! Oh my God! Dude! I just fucking saw her right there! It looked like a woman in a dress. She walked into the hallway. I gotta follow her. She went down this way. Oh my God. Every hair on my body is standing on end. Where'd you go? I saw you go this way. I feel like I heard her say Mabel. It sounded like an M. Now that I think about it, that voice from earlier, it sounded like Mabel. I'm smelling that perfume smell again. Holy shit! Holy shit! No freaking way! Look at that! That thing just came undone! I'm at a loss for words. She just peeked around at me from this curtain.
He slowly makes his way up the grand staircase. He mentions quietly that he just heard a voice echo above him, and as he climbs higher, he pauses, sniffing the air. There's a sudden, strong scent of perfume, completely out of place in such a decayed building. For a moment, nothing happened, but then, a figure he described as a woman in what looked like a dress stepped into the hallway ahead, completely silent. Ian bolted forward, his voice rising as he asked where it went. He turned a corner, his light catching the theater's old dressing rooms, and just as he reached one, the curtain across the far wall pulled itself back with no one touching it. Ian froze in fear. Subscribe if you want to see what happens next, because Ian's not done with this haunted theater. In 2011, a man named Henning was relaxing in his living room when he began hearing some strange cluttering sounds. At first, he brushed it off, assuming it was the house settling or something outside, but the noises persisted long enough to get under his skin. Finally, he grabbed his phone and went to investigate.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Following the sound, he discovered it was coming from one of the doors inside his home. The knob was shaking on its own, rattling as if someone was desperately trying to get in or out. Gathering his courage, Henning reached out, pulled the door open, and revealed absolutely nothing on the other side. For a moment he just stood there, baffled and uneasy, but before he could process it further, the door suddenly slammed shut right in front of him, nearly knocking the phone from his hand. The clip ends with him stunned, standing in disbelief, realizing he may not have been as alone in his home as he thought. Mike the runner decided he was going to visit an abandoned elementary school after hearing local rumors about how haunted it was. Even though he'd never really bought into paranormal stories, the curiosity of exploring a forgotten place pushed him to go anyway. With his camera in hand, he walked through the halls, surrounded by peeling paint, graffiti, and unsettling silence. His lens panned over drawings on the floor that looked like they had been left behind by children decades ago, adding an eerie layer to the atmosphere. However, it wasn't that which caused the real fear. It was something caught on camera at the end. While walking, he could swear he was hearing footsteps behind him, and eventually, he caught the probable cause on camera. It was a large and uncanny creature that caused him to bolt out of the facility, so comment what you think it was. A man decided to start documenting the strange things happening around his home after weeks of hearing noises he couldn't explain. At first it seemed small, but then the activity grew, and finally, one night, he managed to capture a series of events that left him shaken.
Man, this. The is that? What the is that? Some in the water and a what? The is that? Man, some in my house. Get the out. The is that? Oh, that, I'm out. I'm out.
The footage begins with flashing lights in not just one, but two different rooms at the same time, pulsing in a way that looks completely unnatural. As he takes a moment to process what happened, an object sitting on the kitchen table, what appeared to be a salt shaker, suddenly shoots straight up into the air, hitting the ceiling before crashing back down. The man can be heard gasping in shock, barely processing what he's just seen, but before he can even react properly, the chair at the same table begins to slide across the surface, moving directly toward him as if being pushed by invisible hands. He immediately cuts the recording after this, and later admitted that it was the moment he realized whatever was inside his house wasn't just trying to get his attention, but possibly trying to intimidate him. Blackwing96, an online creator who's spoken before about his house being haunted, finally decided to try and capture proof of the activity he's lived with for years. One evening, after hearing strange noises coming from his bedroom, he grabbed his phone and began to record, determined to see what was happening.
Hey guys, it's Blackwing96, and I've been hearing some bumping noises upstairs, like right where my room is. I'm just gonna take a look at. Come on. Okay. Really. What the f was that? You guys hear that, right? Okay. That bottle of Windex was right here. I left it there this morning. It was right there. My room's kind of messy right now because lizards and such shit like that. I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. Oh, can you do that again?
The video shows him slowly approaching the door, pausing as faint sounds come from inside. When he walks in, his camera focuses on the desk in the corner, just as a mug slides a few inches on its own. Clearly startled, Blackwing 96 can be heard nervously laughing and asking it to do it again. Almost as if responding, the mug shifts once more, this time pushing all the way off the desk and smashing to the floor. His voice cracks in disbelief as he backs away, realizing that whatever presence he's been sharing the house with is more responsive and more real than he ever wanted it to be. A woman visiting her sister in the hospital swore she caught something strange out of the corner of her eye and decided to go looking for proof. With her phone in hand, she began walking through the dimly lit halls, recording as she went.
¿Otra vez están escuchando muchos ruidos? Oigan, ¿de dónde viene ese ruido? Se escucha como que gritaran, como si hablaran. No es nadie. Se escucha que grita. Creo que es de acá. Oiga, hay veces que se oyen las sillas de ruedas que caminan, que hablan. ¿Qué podrá ser? Ay, ¿qué podrá ser? ¡Ay, no! ¿Qué es eso? ¡Ay, no! Ahora sí, mire algo. No puede ser. No puede ser, ¿escucharon? Ahora sí sentí que alguien me tocó de verdad. Tengo que ir. No abre el pinche elevador. Les había dicho que se escucha mucho ruido. Voy a tener que ir por mi hija. ¡Abre! No abre. No está abriendo el elevador.
At first, everything seemed ordinary, but then a wooden shelf inside one of the side rooms suddenly slid across the floor entirely on its own, sending her into a panic. She immediately bolted for the nearest elevator, but on the way she yelped, saying she felt something brush against her arm, even though no one was around. The camera shakes as she stumbles, clearly terrified, before she finally makes it into the elevator and out of the ward. The footage has since left people convinced the hospital holds more than just patients inside its walls. That same night after escaping the hospital, she went straight home and crawled into bed, hoping the unsettling events were behind her. But just a few hours later, she was jolted awake by strange noises echoing through the house. Grabbing her phone once again, she went downstairs to investigate.
No mames. No sé si pueden escuchar. El bote de la basura. Y el pinche bote de la basura se abre y se cierra solo. Aquí se... Oye. ¿Qué podrá ser? No mames. ¿Qué ching? Oh, ¿qué es? ¿Qué chingados es? ¡Ay! Se escucha. ¡Ay, no mames! ¿Qué es esto? El pinche bote de basura se está abriendo y cerrando solo. manches. ¿Por qué chingados está haciendo eso?
The recording shows her carefully walking through the dark rooms, whispering as she tried to trace the source of the sound. It seemed to grow louder the closer she got to the bathroom, until finally she reached the bathroom where the trash can was, and it began opening and closing on its own, over and over, as if something inside was taunting her. Her breathing quickened, and she backed away in fear. She later admitted that after this moment, she began looking into buying a new home, convinced that whatever had followed her back from the hospital was not going to leave anytime soon. Sydney was home alone, her husband at work, and her baby peacefully napping in his crib. She decided to record a clip, capturing the chandelier swaying slightly above her and faint, unsettling noises in the background, as if someone were moving around upstairs.
Y'all, something really creepy is happening right now. My husband's at work, I'm the only one home, and listen. It sounds like someone is upstairs walking around. Okay, I'm actually freaking out because I just heard something drop upstairs, like on my ceiling. Hang on. Okay, I turned the video off because I'm actually really freaked out. That baby monitor that you saw laying on the ground is normally attached to the wall. My son isn't crawling, walking, pulling himself up, anything like that yet. So there's no way he could have done that. So now what do I do? All right, we're literally leaving the house. We're leaving the house.
The sounds grew louder until a sudden bang echoed from the upper floor. She cautiously went upstairs, only to find her son napping safely. However, the baby monitor, which was usually firmly screwed to the wall and far out of his reach, had somehow been dislodged and was lying on the floor. Confused and unnerved, Sydney decided to leave the house for a while, needing space to process the strange and inexplicable events she had just witnessed. Ian, the Midwest ghost hunter, is no stranger to abandoned places, always drawn to the thrill of exploring historic and reportedly haunted sites. On this night, he decided to investigate an old, abandoned theater that had long been rumored to have paranormal activity. The air smelled of dust and decay, and cobwebs hung from the rafters, but nothing had seemed out of place, until he spotted a faint, eerie mist drifting across the stage. Feeling both curious and cautious, he grabbed his camera and started recording.
Let me see if I can catch any on video. I know this is going to sound weird, being that I'm by myself, but I feel like I'm in a full house right now. There's so much energy in the air, I could just feel it. It's unbelievable. Oh my God! No way did all these lights just turn on. What the fuck? Guys, I feel like I'm about to lose my freaking shit. If you just turn the lights on, could you shut them off? This theater is coming to life before my very eyes. This whole place is just alive right now. Could you please shut the lights off? Whoever turned them on, Could you shut them off? I don't even know what to say, guys. I am utterly speechless right now. I'm just taking this all in. Amazing. Truly amazing. Holy crap. I'm the only one here. And I mean, unless there's like some...
Suddenly, all the lights in the theater turned on at once, illuminating the dusty interior in a harsh glare. Ian, speaking into the camera, asked the ghost to turn them off again, but nothing changed. The lights remained stubbornly on. Despite the playful attempt to communicate, the ghost refused to comply, leaving Ian visibly frustrated and spooked as the clip ends, teasing more discoveries to come in future explorations, so subscribe. A man was relaxing in bed watching TV, the room dimly lit and calm as he ironically filmed the film on the television. He'd been feeling uneasy for days, claiming small things in his room would be moved when he wasn't looking. Wanting to capture anything strange, he began filming.
Loco, estaba durmiendo, me acaba de levantar, loco, estoy cagado de las patas. Fuera de joda me puse en alabanza, amigo. Estaba durmiendo y de ahí arriba... Mirá, boludo. No lo puedo creer. Necesito, boludo.
As he pans the camera toward his wardrobe, a box perched high up suddenly slides forward, pushing a can from the very top. The can bounces off the edge, and after bouncing somehow, landing upright on the floor, in full view of the camera, the man audibly gasps, his breathing sharp as he realizes what just happened. The clip cuts with him still holding the phone toward the wardrobe, the camera shaking slightly, as though he didn't know whether to get up or stay put. People online said the way the can landed upright added an extra layer of unease, making it feel impossible for the moment to be a coincidence. The following clip opens with bad quality footage under warm, dim lighting, giving everything a slightly grainy and uneasy look. The person behind the camera is slowly panning around the entrance of their house, trying to capture the full view as if they were documenting something already unsettling. If you pay close attention, just by the door frame, a pair of faint, ghostly legs can be seen walking past. They were transparent and slow, as though whoever it was wasn't fully there. The figure vanishes just as the camera tilts slightly, making it hard to catch, unless you pause at the right moment. Fortunately, the person behind the camera noticed, and the family is currently arguing whether it was a trick of the light or genuine proof of a spirit lingering in the home. Either way, the combination of the bad camera quality and the warm lighting made the moment feel even more surreal and haunting. Who knows what will happen next for the family? Sierra had just bought a new home, one with a reputation for being haunted, and decided to film a vlog about fixing it up. Alone that day, she climbed a ladder to start some small renovations, her back to the camera.
How did you...
How did you get out there? Okay, let's try this again.
A few moments later.
There's no way that this is a thing. I don't think you understand. There is zero way that she could unlock that, open it, shut it, and lock it. How are you doing this?
Midway through her work, she suddenly heard the sound of something sliding across the floor, followed by what unmistakably sounded like a door shutting. Confused, she grabbed her camera and walked toward the noise, finding her dog waiting anxiously outside the door. She let him back in, but his behavior was off, and he seemed tense and unsettled, staring at the door as if something was still on the other side. Trying to shrug it off, Sierra set the camera back up and climbed back onto the ladder to continue filming. Moments later, the same sequence of noises happened again. The strange part was how the door had clearly opened, shut, and locked without her or her dog near it. And with her dog being so small, there was no chance he could have done it. Whatever was happening seemed to be tied to the house itself, leaving Sierra visibly shaken as she tried to keep filming for proof. With the unsettling incidents piling up, Sierra decided to set up additional cameras around the house to see if she could capture anything else happening when she wasn't holding the phone. In one of the new clips, her sister and fiancé were in the nursery they were preparing for their upcoming baby, decorating the room and chatting quietly.
A few moments later.
Out of nowhere, the nursery door slammed shut hard enough to rattle the walls. Both of them froze, staring at the door, before her sister cautiously opened it again and stepped out into the hallway to look for any possible cause. There was no draft, no loose hinges, no one else in the house. Trying to shake it off, they went back to work. But shortly after, while her sister was stepping into another room to grab something, the nursery door slammed again with the same force, startling them all over again. By this point, even Sierra's family was beginning to believe something was wrong with the house. She later explained on social media that everyone had agreed to stop working in the rooms alone, and the nursery remained unfinished. They were already discussing whether to bring in a professional investigator or even abandon the renovation plans altogether. A shaky video begins with a man sounding clearly frightened as he walks slowly toward his sitting room, breathing abnormally heavily while recording. The camera pans across the hallway before reaching the doorway, where the floor is littered with torn-up paper as though someone had scattered it everywhere.
Sí.
Once inside the sitting room, he films around nervously, the dull Christmas tree in the corner, adding an eerie contrast to the mess on the floor. Tiny orbs drift across the frame, faint but visible against the warm lights, making the atmosphere feel even heavier. As he sweeps the camera around, a faint female voice can be heard somewhere behind him. He spins around instantly, but there's nobody there, only silence and the sound of his breathing. He is desperate to escape, and the video ends as he walks out of the room, still filming ahead of him. He later posted the clip online, asking viewers if they could figure out what the paper might have been or why it was all over the floor.